Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. It has been a good while since I've recited some poetry, and I am having a really odd day. So it's the full moon, so everyone's crazy doing spell work, and so I was like kept all awake all night, like wide awake. It's like, I mean, people always do spell work on the full moon, but it's just crazy now. It's crazy. I'm going to read the poetry that I've posted in recent times on Instagram. A lot of that is just energy transmutation associated with being stalked, targeted by ISIS-Rail lunatics for being Palestinian. It's the way for me to actually get rid of all of that out of my body. So that's basically like the poetry that has been coming out of me recently. Like I've talked about this before, it's not my favourite work, it's just more of a necessity, but it's still work at the end of the day. And if you don't want to, if you're not interested in the realities of being an artist, work does change, and you're not always doing your favourite work all the time. But at the end of the day, I always just trust that whatever's come out of me has come out of me for a reason, and the right people find it. So like, if that's not for you, then, you know, there's other things. There's other things on YouTube, and there's other things on my page. It's really somber energy coming through me. Welcome to my world, people. Anyway, I also got in the post this pamphlet from Poetry Island and the latest Poetry Island review, so I don't know what's in there. A lot of it, usually, I can't read because it's in Irish, and I can't read Irish. And there's usually quite more like short essays usually for poems. They'd like a lot of them in this journal. I don't know what to call it. Anthology. It looks like there might be something, but you've got to bear with me while I pick it because I'm just doing it on the fly. And then there's this thing that's never seen before. It's like an extra. So I'll see if there's anything in that. Or I'll just read this one now. It's called Off Knives by Johnny Collins. When you are not fed love on a silver spoon, you learn to lick it off knives or begin to not believe in it at all. And when love becomes one big commodity, it starts to feel really lonely, and being graced with it feels odd, like a splash of colour in a grey world. Or a black dress that's just been pearled, life starts to feel, phantasmagorical. Phantasmagorical. I'm gonna have to look that word up. Hard to trust because of the uneasy feelings of illusion, like the only natural conclusion is that life's all just one big delusion. that's actually not true, because life is the only thing that's not a delusion. Because from a spiritual perspective, life is your soul, it's God. So a lot of people, you have to go through certain things in your life to know, to have the knowing of God, because everything else is a delusion. Because it is a knowing, and there's not really any other way to explain it or describe it. And you have to have gone through like a period of isolation and stuff to know that. But love is not a big commodity. That's not really love. That's lust. Lots of people understand love as lust, like, but they don't want to admit that it's actually lust that they're idolizing as love. And that's why it feels lonely, because it's not actually love. It's a very interesting poem. Just read a little bit about this guy, Johnny Collins. I'm not plugging anything, but you know, do your bit for other artists. Johnny Collins is a poet, writer and actor. He completed a screen acting course at Bell Street Academy and played the second lead in the Irish feature film Float Like a Butterfly. Johnny has read his work at the John Hewitt International Summer School in Belfast and is currently working on his short film with IADT in Dunleary. I don't know what IADT is, but I'm assuming Irish people will. Sounds like he's doing a lot. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's just interesting seeing where people are in their journey, or like, yeah, and it's like, it's interesting to see actually like how introspective people are. Yeah, I don't know this guy. Don't know this guy at all, but wasn't expecting to start off like that. I have a big jar of chamomile tea that I made myself. I didn't actually make the tea. The tea is actually from, it's either from Amman or Egypt. I can't remember. The actual flowers, the chamomile flowers, and then I made the tea bag, and it's just nice to have a big jar of it. In Arabic, chamomile is called baboonage. I think that's quite funny. Anyway, I don't think I even finished what I was saying about today with the full moon and everything. Basically, I was kept up all night and only got to sleep after like 8 a.m, which is just nuts. It's just very crazy. And so had to like sleep in the day, and it's God protecting me from all the spells, because people are just nuts and don't have anything better to do. But it's like, this has been weeks of this now, but this is like, that was the worst. Oh, there's a poem about Palestine in this one, in the actual review. It's called Lessons in Palestinian Motherhood by Maya Abu al-Hayat. To be a Palestinian mother, you must learn some simple things. How to hold your wounded child until he sheds his last drop of blood. Crafting words to turn a child into a man when the soldiers awake him for a rest. How to prepare a filling meal for 10 when bakeries, malls and restaurants are bombed. How to tell delightful stories through long nights of shelling. Explaining to a 3-year-old the absence of the martyred father and detained sister. Erecting colourful tents from cushion covers. Finding innovative ways to clean blood. Rejoicing that they arrested the child but didn't kill him. How to dig graves and build graveyards. How to dodge a tank with your 5 children and cross the path to exile with 3 suitcases and 7 souls. You have to be a cat, a crocodile, a plane, a protective shield, the roof of a tent, the stars when the power is out, a poem when even tears dry. You must be everything, the water and the rock. Translated by Ibrahim Fauzi. I like I don't want to be critical again. Like, obviously that is someone's. I just don't want Palestinians to always be seen like that. Like, I know I do the same through what I'm having to go through as well, but it just makes me sad. So I don't want to sound critical in a bad way. It's just kind of each year. I don't know why that happens. Happens when I'm something's about to channel. When I get an itchy and an itchy forehead. But it's that kind of analogy again of like remembering Jesus on the cross and not the way he lived his life before the horrors, you know. Because it's like it's all distorted. It's all distorted because that's it's not even that the mothers are just like that, the children are, the grandparents are, the whole society is, like the whole people are, the men are everything as well. The men are the masculine and the feminine, the distorted and the divine, all in one. It's like everyone is singular. Everyone is completely singular and not reliant on anything or anyone. And that's just a very strange society. And it's not really cohesive or integrated. It's like very disintegrated. And it's all trauma. Like it's trauma caked on. Like it's a generational curse. That's what it is. It's not even like it's like sometimes you go through lessons and then you learn the first time and then it's like the thing keeps happening again, the same lesson keeps happening again and again, and then you just think, well, what's the point of it now? So it's not really a lesson, especially for Palestinians who've had, before the genocide, they've had many mowings of the lawn. They've had many operations and like massacres. So it's not like you learn and you learn lessons, and like I don't think people understand that lotus flowers grow out of the mud, like in the dark, and that's kind of the people that Palestinians are. It's just like a whole population of them, which isn't really normal. I mean, what is normal? But you know what I mean? It's not really healthy to have everybody like that. should have really picked the poems, because like now I'm worried about whether I'm going to read a poem and it's not going to be PG. Not like, even though all my videos I just mark them as not PG anyway. Even though there's nothing, I just don't want any extra hassle from YouTube than I already get. This one's called I Dreamed About Dogs Again Last Night by Nicole Morris. Fat as cows and muzzled, running me down some silver road that felt old. You were there, but a baby nursing. Needles through the tips of my nipples like some phantom limb, that mother love, that oxy loop, that hot pull deep in the fat and capillaries, and your mouth and your mouth and your eyes on mine. The dogs barked, or did they moo? You lost your latch in the wet brim for me and I died, or I woke up 21 years later and 5,000 miles between us, my son, you yourself might be, the pack of hounds at my feet, baying, biting, flapping at the blue-eyed edges of our forgetting, but begged to be held, swaddled even, stubborn-muled instead of telling the truth, that we are both sorrier for the sopping wet weight of time we fall away, and now you want blood, not milk, and me, the mother with your baby teeth, back-stitched into the underside of hands held now to your nose, that perhaps, before you bite down, you might know me by scent, if not by name. See, that's like a very different poem about motherhood. Very different poem about motherhood than the Palestinian one. So it shows you the difference about when people write from trauma and when they don't write from trauma. It's quite actually very well placed. Like the editing of that is actually really clever. Right. I'm going to read some of mine now, because this video is already long and I haven't read any. So this is one I wrote yesterday. It's called Simplicity. I want you just because it's you. I need you just because it's you. Living without you is miserable. Living with you is a pain. All things considered, I prefer to choose you every day. It's about love. These are quite short poems. This one's called Sickness. Imagine if ISIS Rail erased all the prophets before they even knew who they were. There'd be no books to blame for the sickness they carry out, no stories they would recreate while claiming it's God's work. There would just be a lot of dead babies and the stark reality of our own madness. It doesn't matter how many trillions of dollars they have to keep up the charade, they cannot escape their sickness. That was written the day before yesterday, I think. Maybe still yesterday. This is also yesterday. And this is written because there's identity theft and all of that bullshit. Because it's just weird. It's just weird that my accounts are being targeted like this and I just got this much attention. It's just weird. So like it's in response to like people trying to make my accounts look fake. So even though on Instagram I've got verification, it just looks like a clone account, but it's the one that I can access and the one that I can manage, and I'm the owner of it. So, and it's the same with Facebook. So this poem's called I've had my Instagram account since October 2012 and my Facebook account since December 2006, and like both of them just show added on June 2021. which is just weird. So that's from when the shadow banning happened. If you find me threatening and intimidating, it means my light has awoken your demons. The worse you treat me, the more work you have to do on balancing your shadow. So it really is best to leave me alone and go and work on that. I can't help who I am. It's not a crime to be myself. I existed before you did. Get out of my space. Stop stalking me and studying me. Stop your weird obsession with trying to be me and making elaborate, slanderous, false reports about me, affecting how other people see me because you shit the bed at your own filth. It's just plain diseased. Go and heal your shadows. There is no other way. How can you own anything if you don't even know yourself? Money and bribes and writing laws that are breaking laws doesn't make you an owner or a ruler. It's just a sickness against the current, and God heals all sicknesses eventually. I wrote this one first and then I wrote sickness after, but it was all kind of the same energy that I was kind of working through that yesterday. This one is from a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. It's a love poem again. It's called Leading Us in Love. When you whisper, I feel loved. Thank you, big guy up above, for healing our hearts so very scarred. When you whisper, I feel touched. I know now you'd be leading us in love. There's no such thing as ready, really. Only held back until we had enough lessons bagged for us to be our best in service to him for always. I quite like that one. I like tender love like that is very rare, I think. Yeah, this next poem is quite short, but it's just born out of anger, because it feels like, as a creative, it's like you don't get a freaking cake out of the oven before it's cooked. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that with writing a book, with creating an album, with all of that stuff. There's a gestation, and like you don't birth the baby comes when the baby fucking comes, yeah? It's like you just, all of this stalking and everything, I just feel like a kind of weird pressure, because they block my income and everything, that I've just got to push stuff out. And then just, it's like the anxiety of my pushing some work out before it's really what I really wanted it to be, and you know, and before it's actually got its real justice, because I don't want to not do anything justice by what I'm having to, by the circumstances that I'm finding myself in. So it's just an angry poem. It doesn't have a title. Get your own knowledge, thieves. I don't spend my time praying and creating for you to spend your millions robbing me before I can birth naturally. That's it. And then the next poem I wrote at the beginning of January, 4th of January. And basically, like, the people who do that kind of stuff, who like rape, steal, cyberstalk, gang stalk, kill, all of that stuff, they've got no boundaries, yeah? They don't understand consent. They don't care about consent, because they just have this really like ingrained deep sense of entitlement, that they can just do what they want, have what they want at the expense of anything, everyone. They've got no, it's like at all costs, yeah? So this just doesn't have a title at the moment, and it's just about that kind of entitlement that Isis Rael has. Isis Rael and everything it's founded on and everything it stands for is basically a sense of entitlement. We all have to suffer because they feel they are owed what's not theirs to claim. They never work for any of it, but believe the foundation is theirs. It's the biggest nonsense. It's also the oldest ill, just recycled. a disease of patriarchal bullshit, stealing, raping, killing, torturing, destroying. It's all entitlement. Even over other people's bodies. Other people's bodies, that's how desperate and out of control they are. It's completely absurd. Never mind over nutrition, energy, jobs, housing, schooling, healthcare. Whether people can marry and have a family. It's all entitlement. Nobody's entitled to another person's anything, but that crazed mentality is actually being branded as innovation these days. That's how disturbed and calculated this entity and empire is. This entity and its empire is. So, yeah, it's just, and it's kind of like by extension of entitlement. So, like, basically, Israel is infiltrating the oppression that's being put on Palestinian by infiltrating in other countries and economies and stuff. And they've got like all these offshoots of cybersecurity, and there's like even one in Manchester. It's like really crazy, like how they just think that they can go and like their whole survival depends on all this stalking and like getting a little. It's just crazy. Who lives like that? That's not life, bro. That's so fucked up. Like, the next poem was actually quite took me a long. It's a message that I've felt like was in me for a long time, and it took me all of these months to kind of write about it. Like, it's important to note as well, like all my poems, they're like really, they're in their raw format when I post them on Instagram. One, it's kind of like I like to post them a bit not finished because people are stealing my work, but also it's also good to like have a record of like the rawest form of the channeling or of the like the energy transmutation. I don't really know how to explain it. The translation. It's a translation of energy. The price of projection. There are people destroying us out of jealousy, bankrupting the whole world to do it too. Total lunatics, yes. But the worst ones are the ones who can't face facts and admit they resonate more with the monsters, but kill us in more sanitary ways. These insidious people getting thrills from watching us be destroyed, not so secret addicts, unhealed people worldwide, much of whom are pretending to be on our side, completely rotten on their insides, fueling themselves up while we are left to die in the traps of their ill projections. And like, that is just referencing the fact that loads of people that call themselves pro-Palestinian are just like junkies. They're just like social media junkies. They're like fanatics. Like, there was one person that claimed to be a feminist, like this was last year, and it kind of like stopped me from commenting and stuff because that was supposedly a pro-Palestinian woman who was a feminist who I told her what I thought of her when she was like insulting me for being something privileged. I can't remember the label that she gave me. When I suggested that the aid going into Gaza should have period underwear in it, like cotton period underwear and the washable period pads. And she started going on at me about how they've got no water, this or that. Like, you can't wash your blood in the sea. There's blood everywhere. There's sewage everywhere. People are still managing to wash. Like, you can't, like, people are carrying bloody people all the time. Got blood all over them. You can't say, oh, these people, they don't have it. Like, they go in the sea. So, like, I was just like, at first I was like, they can just go in the sea to like wash stuff. We use the seawater to wash the blood out. And that like, and then she carried on, and then I just thought, and then I basically like give her what for in a comment response because she was just a bit stupid. But basically, obviously, like on Meta, Palestinians are like treated like shit. So just because she couldn't take that's exactly what she was, what I told her. She reported my thingy and got like a strike on my account that's supposedly a pro-Palestinian person, like, and I'm just thinking, like, how it's just loads of crazed people like that just want to trauma bond with you. Like, they just want to trauma bond, and when you don't trauma bond with them, because, like, God forbid that Palestinians have reusable period products, because everyone knows as well that they're just sleeping next to sewage and like landfill. So why in the aid would you send in the period pads that are just going to go on the rubbish heaps, instead of giving them two ones that you can wash, two pads that you can wash, they can have on rotation, or like three. And then that's only like one shipment has to get in once. They're not having to constantly wait for the next aid and the next aid and the next aid. Yeah, well, that's supposedly someone that's for self-proclaimed feminist. I don't know where the feminists have gone when it comes to Palestine, if you ask me. The next poem I just wrote it to Meta, the thieves behind Meta. That's the thieves that hijacked my account, that's stealing from me, and Meta. Post any old shit on here, for all it's good for is housing thieves who try to block you from realising your dreams because they've already gone ahead and cloned and mass-produced what was never theirs. They're gutted because I'm still not dead. Oh well, didn't bank on me being here to tell all the tales. They won't stop when trying to set up fake life insurance policies in bed with all the authorities. So just might as well post any old shit, match the people thieving on air in spirit, because that's as much as those shitholes and the shithole deserve. It's just like, yeah. The next poem I posted on New Year's Eve. I've posted it on here actually as well, like in the comments, in the community tab. It's called Last Poem of the Year. 2024 felt like the fastest year ever and one of the worst. Days are mostly firefighting, mostly human delinquency and corruption. The bizarre insistence people have to be lesser than AI. What the fuck? What a very strange year. 2025 is going to be a different ride, I'm not going to lie. The end crept up on me, but I'm glad it's gone. This is another one from the end of last year. Tech, AI, etc. is very low frequency, limited, very limited, yet society is integrating very well with it. Oh, I think this is going to be the last poem. I forgot that I wrote this. I forget a lot of poems. I write a lot of poems. But it just so happens that in recent times I've like been sharing most of what I'm writing. Together. What do you do when your very existence unsettles everyone around you? You keep moving in peace just as you are until the people who can see you come along and let you know you're not alone, together amongst the stars. Yeah, that's so good. And that's just basically like referencing like when you walk on your soul path and you follow the path that you're meant to do in line with like what God's purpose is for you, you just lose a lot of people. Like a lot of people actually like betray you and stuff like that and like get in your way. Because they want, it's kind of like the usual narcissist paradigm where they just want you to play the role of the scapegoat, or the one that's like always not successful, or always this in their eyes, or always that, just so it suits them. So they always feel like they have the illusion that they're like propped up and they're always in a better situation than you. And they never help you and stuff. They never help you in life. They just leave you to struggle all the time. And it's just, that's not real people. That's not real friends. And it's just referencing that, basically, like when you go it alone and you have that time alone, that eventually you become like at peace with yourself. And then that's when, you know, like after that point, you have genuine connections. Just want to see if there's any more from... I regret actually not going through this earlier and like bookmarking some, but I'm going to read this one. Claudine Tutungi, Alternative Medicine. The cure for vertigo is heights. The cure for narcissism is mirrors. The cure for fatal flaws is tragic loops. The cure for FOMO is slow-mo. The cure for blisters is blemishes. The cure for waspishness is bees. The cure for big hair is fright wigs. The cure for time is dunking Madelines. The cure for trailing off is cliffhangers. The cure for drawbridges is ha-has. The cure for crank calls is crankiness. The cure for rain is the sound of rain. The cure for crotchetness is crotchet. Is that crotchet or crochet? I don't know, bro. You got me there. The cure for ointment is the flies in them. The cure for intrusive thoughts is horse snorts. The cure for hills is Hildegard of Bingen. The cure for obstinacy is the soul of a mule. The cure for laxity is latitude. The cure for rambling is blabbering. The cure for reality is Stanislavski. The cure for think tanks is flotation tanks. The cure for I don't know, foggy states is Bachstocata and Fug. I don't know, bro. The cure for half smiles is micro smiles. The cure for crumbling is crumbs. The cure for huskiness is vocal fry. The cure for lightweights is acres of chiffon. The cure for lingering is linguini. The cure for nerves is trembling leg. The cure for doom face is gloom face. The cure for murk is munch. The cure for pondering is dark pools. The cure for the cures is love. I like that last line. I like it when I don't really fully understand poems. Like, that happens to me a lot. I've said it before on the channel, like, and I'm a poet, but it happens to me a lot that I don't really understand poems in either full or in part, like, quite often. I think that's normal. Like, if you read a lot of poems, you're not going to understand them all. Jamie O'Halloran, Wash Day. I launder my mother-in-law's memories, first sorting them by decade to avoid bleeding of emotion from one age to another. I forget to check her pockets for happy moments, so they shred in the spin. I use the towel cycle for the heavy remembrances of her tween years, when her mother dumped her with Auntie Kitty in Florence before sailing into death. When the wash is done, each garment is turned inside out, as confused as my mother-in-law. They need reminding, as she does most mornings. This is a sock. This is your drawer. You are home. That's so cute. I like that poem. Right. Thanks for joining me, if you're here still here till the end, put chamomile in the comments. Or whatever chamomile is in your language of choice. Just gonna finish my tea now. See you in the next video. Love yous. Remember to like, subscribe. Helps me out. It's free. And it's kind of nice to be reciting. A bit like I don't know, like I've always thought about, because I've got the library and stuff, like what would it actually be like if I had a home gig? You know, like just have a gig at home at the library with like people on the stairs and stuff listening. I think it'd be quite cool. I've always imagined that. Yeah, but the library, the height of the library is, I think it's either 5 foot or it's 5 foot-ish. Because I have to like duck my head and stuff. Like I'm 5'6" and I have to duck my head. So it's only a library that you can sit on. And like the stairs would be the seats. It's like, no, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like cool idea for a landing gig. One day maybe it'll happen. It's quite chill and cozy. Do it for friends or something. Anyways, see you next video. Love yous.